In my studies, I can absolutely 100% say to you that yes, these mental disorders are very real and people do have these. Some people require a medication to cope with their mental disorder and try to live a life as functioning as good as possible that will not cause harm to themselves or to others around them. Hi, Phoenix family. So the topic I picked tonight, and I'm hoping I get a lot of comments on this one, but the topic I picked tonight is, are mental disorders tied into psychic abilities? Okay. Um, I want to first explain to you my credentials. I do have a bachelor's degree in psychology, and one of few courses I took were based on mental disorders. I'm not a professional psychiatrist, but I want to give you my credentials to show that I have absolutely studied the mental disorders that we're about to talk about, and also share with you my own personal life experiences. Okay, I do have a son who will be 22 years old very soon, and he is autistic. I have a son that's about to be 21 years old who has ADHD. So I'm going to put that out there first. Okay. The second part to this is why I can combine the two. All right. In my studies, I can absolutely 100% say to you that yes, these mental disorders are very real and people do have these. Some people require a medication to cope with their mental disorder and try to live a life as functioning as good as possible that will not cause harm to themselves or to others around them. And then there are some people that do not take medication, but they have an herbalist helping them, or they take meditations, something that will assist them in coping with the mental conflict in their own head. And that's how I like to refer to a mental disorder, is a personal mental conflict. Um, my son with ADHD is very real. Okay. He was raised growing up. It's very difficult raising him because the ADHD has so many factors that's difficult to work with. No matter how good of a parent you are, and I mean, I was in on everything, like the schoolwork and what he did from the time he woke up to the time he went to bed, his meals and meeting with friends and stuff. We had a very close bonding relationship, but he seemed to always be in trouble. And it's because that mind just constantly goes. For a while, from youth, from say I was 3 to 8 years old, we did have him on medication, and then we found at about 8 years old that we could take him off of medication and work with his ADHD around a diet and a strict structure. When I say strict structure, it means that bedtime is 8:30. That doesn't mean 8:35 you're getting a drink and then going to bed at 8:40, or 8:29 is when you start running downstairs to talk to mom and dad. It means that at this time you start brushing your teeth, this time you have your pajamas on, and you are in bed at 8:30, period. Okay, that kind of structure, very strict structure. And it did not rid the ADHD, but it helped him cope with ADHD. Okay, and my son that's autistic, that structure worked with him tremendously well. He is high functioning autistic, and the spectrum is very wide from a very severe autistic to a high functioning. Okay, that structure helped them a great deal. Now, that's understanding my personal experiences with the mental diagnosis, the personal mental conflict, and then my studies in school with what mental disorders were and how they affect people and treatment that some people have to go through. Okay, now to why I combine the two together. People that are diagnosed with schizophrenia often have hallucinations. I have personally met some people diagnosed with schizophrenia that have psychic vision. However, they are given this diagnosis because the social norm is that this isn't supposed to be. This, you can't have that. If you are seeing things, or if you know things, if you are feeling things about other people or the world around you, then there's something wrong with you. Okay? I must say that not all people diagnosed with schizophrenic are psychic. Okay? That I gotta put that out there. But I know some that were diagnosed as schizophrenic who actually are. Okay? I'm talking again about my son with ADHD. He is an incredible tarot card reader. He has such a connection with that. And it's because the way his mind works, because how fast he moves and thinks and has to process information, so that when he is making a connection with another person, he is able to read these cards and give astounding explanations to help another individual. Okay? Again, he has a mental conflict, a personal mental conflict. Diagnosis ADHD. I know people that are diagnosed as bipolar, and I also know people diagnosed as bipolar who are extreme empaths. Okay? That the reason they are bipolar, diagnosed as bipolar, is because they pick up not only their own emotions, but the absolute emotions and scenarios of other people, and they soak it up, therefore creating these moods and these episodes and situations that they have to deal with. An episode for a person's bipolar can be very intense for those for themselves and those around them that are trying to figure out, okay, first you're feeling this, now you're feeling this. How do we deal with that? You know, when they go from happy to anger, it's not just agitation, it's real freaking anger. And the way that they react to it and act out on it, it's quite extreme, and it can be quite scary, and it affects everybody around them. Those same people also are empaths. But again, the society norm says that you can't have that. You cannot pick up the emotions of others. Sure, you can have empathy, but to actually feel what somebody else is feeling, to soak it up as if it were your own, society says you can't be like that, that that's not a normal thing, that if you're doing that, you're not normal and you must need help. You must need medication. Granted, I would say yes, that an empath needs help, but it's not always medication. Sometimes they just need somebody to sit down and go, okay, this is what you're dealing with, but that is not your emotion. That did not happen to you. You have no reason to feel that. Let me help you let it go. Let me help you push it out and get rid of it. Um, let's see, schizophrenia, bipolar, ADHD, ODD. That's one. It's they've changed the meaning of it, but it is like an ODD is the aggression, to be disobedient, to be um, harmful to oneself and others, and I don't know. My personal opinion, even researching it in school and learning about it and writing papers on it and meeting people that were diagnosed with ODD, I have a personal problem with it. The defiance deficiency. And that is because I don't feel that a person has a personal diagnosis with a defiance deficiency as something that cannot be fixed with a strict platform. When you give them, this is what you do when you get up in the morning, you go to work, you are trying to support yourself, you're trying to support your family, this is how you treat people. When you have that, when you are held responsible for your own actions without, oh, you have a disorder, I feel that ODD would not be so openly diagnosed to so many people. The important factor of a mental diagnosis is to understand that, yes, this is something that people have, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be treated as if they are different from everybody else. You still have to be responsible for your own actions. You still have to accept that your behavior is not tolerated if it's, unfavorable. But again, ODD, some of the people that have this defiance deficiency have the ability to see things at a greater level. It's like a heightened vision of the outside realm. That the reason, under this explanation, that they are defiant is because they basically see people in a box. This is the little box. Everybody lives in it. Everybody does the same thing. Everybody thinks the same way. Everybody just, they fit in a little cookie cutter. And that the ODD is not a defiant deficiency as in there's something wrong with them. It's that they possess the idea of to tear the box down and to use free will to separate themselves from what society says is normal, that they want to step up in a way to be a leader. They want to step up and lead their own life, not in the way that this little box was set up for them. Okay? And that I absolutely support. I absolutely support that behavior, as long as when the way that they're doing it, again, is not harming themselves or others. This heightened intelligence is a connection to the third eye, because the third eye can create the ability to see, hear, and feel at a heightened level. The wording is so difficult to put together. So if everybody in the box says, well, you have to do everything this way, and this one person that is not causing harm to others but says, we can't all just live in this box, we have to step out, we have to create things, then maybe it's not defiant as in the fact that they are misbehaving. They just don't want to be a cookie cutter person. So I question ODD a lot. Whether it is a person that just chooses to misbehave because nobody's going to do anything about it. They're just going to, he's got a disorder, we have to let it alone, which to me, I'm sorry, but it's bluntly bullshit. Nobody should ever be treated that way. I don't care. You are responsible for who you are and what you do. The other, another side of that coin is that they are very in tune with their third eye, which causes this behavior because they are going to push against that box. They will not be tied in. Okay, and then the last part of that is that there are so many of these people in the box that aren't like that. They are all in the idea, this is the way you live, this is what you do, this is how you do it, that when they see this individual, oh, he must need help, he must need a diagnosis, he must need medication. When in reality, it's a heightened sense of reality, of a greater sense of the realm that we actually live in. So, I love to have this conversation with you guys. I would love to see comments, questions, or anything at all for this video, so that we can carry this on. What are your personal thoughts? What are your personal feelings on mental diagnosis versus psychic abilities and combining the two? Okay? Again, one last time before in this video, I am not saying that mental diagnosis does not exist and that it is not real. It does exist, it is very real, and it needs to be paid attention to. What I am saying is that not everybody with the mental diagnosis actually has something that they are suffering from. What they do have is an ability that the rest of the world is not ready to deal with. Okay? So that's it for now. Thank you all for watching the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I love y'all. Mwah.